Yeah, no, but it's really fun. So yeah, I'm from Canada, like Ottawa specifically, which is the capital.
And how would you say is the whole corona crisis being perceived by the people around you?
I think that we're all just extremely happy to not be in the US.
Where are you from, mate?
Florida.
So I think we're kind of happy not to be there, but like we're also kind of scared by all of this, of course.
By most people just think it's dumb and that it's like not really that true or something. So most people are actually like not quarantining at all and just basically like going wherever they want. But my parents kind of don't want that, so I've been like still at home.
So you would say that people are taking it seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always, like those couple of like dumb teenagers who don't do anything about it. And there's obviously like the kind of people like in every place that just don't take anything seriously. But I think there's less of those in Canada than there are in certain other countries.
So there's actually a lot of people that don't believe in it.
Yeah. A lot of people believe that either like the mask is bad and that like you're going to touch it and then breathe in the coronavirus or something. Or that like if you wear a mask you can't be affected by people who aren't wearing it and that it completely protects you. Both are kind of dumb, but...
How has the crisis affected you personally?
Pretty much like all my friends from school I never talk to anymore except for one of them.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't have school anymore, which kind of sucks. It's like in Canada, basically the rule is like for a long time you weren't allowed to like have a bubble or anything with anyone else. So it was very much like kind of stuck with your family, which I mean,
yeah,
I have a pretty nice family, so it was all right. But it's frustrating not seeing any friends or anything.
Do you know anybody who's been personally affected, like has been infected or has lost their job or something like that?
So our neighbor, he died because of it.
Oh.
We don't know anyone who lost their job because of it.
Well, I did get fired after 2.5 months, and I am going to stop working on tomorrow. I am from Venezuela originally.
Then you moved to
Chile. Chile is located in the southern end of South America. That's right next to Argentina and right on Peru. I'm living in the capital city of Santiago. And I've been here living like for somewhat around 2.5 years.
And how would you say is the whole corona crisis being perceived by the people around you?
In the immediate range, that would be the place I'm currently living in. Here, things have been a little unchanged. I mean, as in social attitude. We are supposed to be in a quarantine, full quarantine, and people are only allowed to go out like, let's say once a day you get 7 permits a week, that's it. So you have to use them wisely. Like you can go out once a day to buy supplies or medicine or to the doctor, but for all that you have to register in a platform and or just basically tell the cops where you're going, and you have to keep that permit with you at all times. If a police officer asks you about it, you will need to show your identification and you need to show that permit. You can use those 7 permits as you see fit during the 7 days. You can go out 7 times a day, and if you do, then you're screwed for the rest of the week. Or you can do what most people in this area are doing, that is going out without a permit. And that's basically the problem, because a lot of people are not really respecting the quarantine.
Where are you from, mate?
I'm from Brazil.
How would you say the people perceiving this situation?
They don't give a fuck for anything. They are acting like nothing is happening.
For example, like my neighbors, they had a barbecue this weekend with friends and family, and it was like, you're not supposed to have a barbecue because we're in quarantine, right?
And how would you say has it personally affected your life?
I stayed home mostly, but We can we can go out, we can have fun. That's mostly. My job is the same as before.
Aren't you a veterinarian?
Yes.
And people still bring their pets and everything, and
Yes, there is still bringing. They bring more than before, which is very strange. Since they're home, they taking care more of their pets. We are having surgery almost every day.
They told me that I could apply for the unemployment payment and stuff. They are going to pay me some of the money that I do have there, which is like a little bit less than a minimum salary for 1 month, because that's all I have. That's all the money I've been. That's all the money I have saved from work. And they did offer me a freelance contract. So I used to get paid like a base salary and commissions. So they told me, we can't continue paying you your base salary. We want around $430. It's basically nothing, but
so you can still earn money from that job, but in a very limited fashion.
Because I am only working. I mean, I can work the time that I want. I can work the hours that I want now. But I am only going to get based on results. I'm not going to get a base salary. Yeah, I'm actually looking for a job right now. But it's been complicated because all the available jobs are in the essential business. And the essential employers, they're all full. Or most of them are full. And
yeah, it makes sense because lots of people must be looking for new jobs right now, right?
Actually, unemployment rate went like from 8% to 15-16%. It's actually going up. Yeah, it's going up like really fast.
Do you know anybody else that has been personally affected?
Yes, I know. Some former teacher of my aunt, they both died for the corona. They were elderly, but still, it's a shock.
Yeah, the measures are getting tougher and tougher by the passing month. No, they're getting a fee, they're getting a fine, but a lot of people are not paying it because they don't have the resources.
Oh, they just don't have the money.
You just don't have the money to pay it because, well, you still have to pay for your housing and you still have to pay for light bill, water bill, gas, stuff like that. Yeah, the bills. So you have to pay for those things, and people are more concerned with those than obviously paying a fine. And
yeah, makes sense.
A lot of people have lost their jobs and they go out. For example, I am currently living with someone. She got fired too. And in order to preserve herself and the needs of her kids, she's been making cakes, for example. She's been making cakes and selling them. And people text us like, hey, I want a cake. And yeah, I deliver. I walk. I take them. But I don't have a permit to do that because that's technically not a job. So if a police officer caught me delivering a cake, it's like, okay, good. So where's your permit? Where's the permit that says that you're an essential worker and you're delivering food? I don't have one because technically that's not a job. It's not a registered job. So a lot of people have been getting into that problem. So yeah, it hasn't been particularly easy, neither for Chileans or for migrants. You know, we are already on our second health minister and the curve doesn't flatten.
So, Shantaram, where are you from?
I'm from India. A little part of India
Nice.
called Tamil Nadu. It's a state in the south.
How would you say is the coronavirus situation generally perceived where you live?
So in my area, a lot of people are neglecting to take like some safety precautions. A lot of people in the first couple of months or the first 2-3 months, they took it quite well and everybody took precautions, stayed inside, respected government rules and all that. But now people are getting a little bit impatient from being cooped up so long, right? And so that's kind of an issue. And so people are getting impatient. And we reopened for a little bit, but then everybody quickly realized it was a terrible idea. And so we're locking down again. And yeah.
Has anybody that you know been personally affected, like lost their job or gotten sick or anything like that?
Nobody that I personally know has gotten sick. A couple of my neighbors have, people in surrounding buildings from mine. are ill, and my dad, he lost his job, sadly,
Oh,
because
wow.
everybody was hard hit, and his company especially, since they make these educational things for little kids. Right? No, nobody's buying that stuff right now because they need money for other things.
What about you? How's it hitting you? How are you coping with the situation?
Not very well. Like before the whole pandemic thing, um, school was kind of like everything. Like
Mm.
I care about school so much because it's where I talk to all my friends. It's like where we do stuff. I was in a jazz band at school, and like every single month we would travel somewhere and play. Like the school is deciding, hey, let's lock down for, they said 2 weeks to begin with, like 3 months ago when the coronavirus was ramping up. So like we thought that we would just be out of school for 2 weeks and then we'd be back. So
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
I can imagine that this whole situation has been really stressful for a lot of people. So
It has been really
how have-
stressful, yes.
yeah, how have you been like coping with it?
Well, in my particular condition, since I am now living with someone who has kids, it's been stressful. They're not my kids, and I don't really have to like care for them, but they're still there, right? And so I've been trying to get more creative with my meals. Since I studied, cuisine, I have the capacity to get a little bit more creative with my meal planning.
So yeah, how I've been coping. I talk to my friends a lot digitally, which is pretty nice. And I've been getting back in contact with a lot of friends that I wouldn't otherwise have been talking to in this time, because I probably would have been a lot busier. But I've been talking to a lot of friends who've moved away, and or just simply fell out of acquaintance as time passed, and so that's been very nice. And a lot of this has been about human connection, even though we're all like somewhat deprived of it because of social distancing and the like. And a lot of, I think, mine and I think many other people's coping mechanisms come from the kind of human connection that we're finding right now. Apart from meeting my friends, a lot of my coping mechanism is making things. And so I made and submitted my first two films ever to a festival called the Quarantine International Film Festival. uh, it's a festival organized by some people in the film industry in Canada, and so it's a worldwide free film festival for people to work with what they have and tell compelling stories, create compelling films. And so the first film that I made was about the coronavirus epidemic itself, and it featured people talking about their hopes and wishes for what they would do when lockdown was over. And the second film I made was a lot more elaborate in its scope, and it was a film about an apocalypse and the aftermath of an apocalypse specifically, and one man alone who's slowly losing his sanity.
You made these films while in quarantine, and they helped you cope, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it was just the experience of working with other people. I found this Discord server online, which is like a chat room. And over there, there's like many other like-minded people around the same age as me, and so we're all united by this interest in creating films and making films, and we all came together because of the festival, and we started making films that way.
There is also the thing with cakes, for example. We've been working harder and harder with those cakes and delivering stuff because I have to make ends meet. And I got registered, like medically diagnosed with anxiety. It's been a little tougher, yes. Me particularly, I used to take clonazepam, and I stopped once I got here because things were getting better, so I didn't get any anxiety or panic attacks. But I did get a panic attack a few days ago when my computer broke down, so I did have to get some more clonazepam. A lot of people can't really afford to go to the doctor, for example, because going to a hospital is an almost certain case of your infected. Okay, and healthcare, COVID-19 related healthcare isn't free. So a lot of hospitals have had a terrible management with the patients because they haven't had the resources to. Given that they are private hospitals and stuff like that, or public hospitals, they haven't gotten funding to care for additional things like COVID, which no one was actually planning for.
So that all got canceled. But then the thing that's like, it's been really bad for me is that, like, for one, my mom constantly has news on 24/7, which is kind of freaky. But so yeah, I started getting like depression, really bad depression. So recently I've been having, like, in the middle of the night. This is pretty personal. I've only told like a couple of people this, but recently, for the past 2 weeks probably, I've been having like panic attacks basically in the middle of the night. Sometimes every couple of days, or like suddenly suicide is basically all I can think about, and that's the only thing that runs through my brain. Like right now I'm fine, but it's like chemical shit changes or something.
Final question.
Right.
What are you going to do when all this is over?
Just go out, eat all the food that I've been dying to eat for months now that I can't. I mean, that's mainly it. And of course, I had plans made with friends, and all of those are going to get executed as soon as possible.
Hell yeah.
And that's about it, really. Isn't that what we all want to do? Eat a lot and meet our friends?
When all this is over, did you really have to ask that? Man, that was
What do
a
you
tough
look
one.
forward to doing?
Okay, here's my personal plan. Okay, just before I got fired, I was going to sign up for a coding academy because I had the plans of changing my, working path. Pretty much done being a recruiter and recruiting people with really high salaries and me having the salary that I had. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sign up for a coding academy. Right before signing that paper, I got the call and I got fired. I could continue looking forward to that idea of getting a job again and some more money again so I can sign up again for my coding academy and stuff like that. And also, I'm personally, well, like many other migrants actually here, many other Venezuelan migrants, kind of looking forward to leave the country. That is a possibility that I am playing with, but that depends on the resources. Because right now I'm almost broke. Like I'm making ends meet just. But the idea is to either regain, either to resume the coding academy thing so I can change your path, or migrating and see how it goes somewhere else.
Damn. What are you gonna do when all of this is over?
Well, like, first of all, I'm gonna go to school again. That's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna try and start a band again. Oh yeah, I remember the name that we were gonna name our band and the album and all that.
What is it?
We were gonna name ourselves the Robo Bitches.
The Robo Bitches.
And then, and then the album was gonna be Crackhead Blues, because we were all playing like horrible, horrifying nonsense.
What are you going to do when all of this is over? What's the first thing?
I really don't know, but the first thing is travel with my friends to some place.
Yeah? Any idea where to?
Somewhere in the woods, away from the cities. Campfires, something like that. We have plans to travel to another country, maybe Peru or Argentina, but I don't know right now. Maybe next year we will see.